Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Sairam.
Sairam.
Sairam, Anna, I've just told that you are a leader of groups for ladies, for bhajans, for Akanda bhajans, for Mahashivaratri.
Yes.
Yes, you were teaching bhajans and Vedam more than 15 years.
Yes.
Yes, and so I'm very happy to know you because my experience about Mahashivaratri, our bhajan group, was really divine.
Oh, that's so nice to hear that.
Yes, yes.
Yes, I know many ladies said the same, and it was really very special this year.
Yes, it was special, and my personal experience also was divine, because when you told me, you 3 times you told me that I can sing, and I'm told, no, I'm not singing, soprano, what are you talking about? And when you heard that I really could sing soprano and I was sitting in the first row, I was shocked. And during our training, I was shocked because like Swami presence was so much. It was so much.
Yes, all the time, yes. In the practices and in the mandir also. But that is typical what Swami is doing. He, because I didn't know you, of course, I saw you for the first time. But somehow he uses us to bring about and what is in the ladies, which talent is there, and I just say what he is inspiring, and that is the beauty of Swami's leading of actually all our life. Once we surrender to him, that's how he's doing.
So Anna,
yes,
about your beautiful story, how did you come to Swami?
Oh, this is a very long story. It goes back more than 40 years ago when I first heard of him. I was at that time studying. It was an evening study of like spiritual university in Ljubljana, in the capital of Slovenia. That's the country where I come from. Where this body was born in this incarnation. I don't come from that country because that's another story.
You're
Swami,
Indian.
yeah. No. Swami was asking me so many times, where are you from? And I kept saying Slovenia, and he wasn't happy. So now when anybody asks me where I'm from, I usually say I'm from God, just like you. Anyway, that was at that time, of course, I thought I am body, much, although I knew I'm not only body, I'm also soul, but that was the beginning. And when I heard about Kali Yuga avatar, I knew about Krishna already in Rama a little bit. We studied that. We studied meditation and some yoga practices and all this. So I knew it is very special now that we have an avatar. I did not know before. I knew Ramana Maharshi, I knew many other like spiritual personages from Orient, but not about Swami, about Sri Satya Sai Baba. Yeah, so I wanted to go immediately when I heard about Swami being in Avatar in India, to go to India, because all my life, at that time, many Slovenians thought about India Kurumandia. We had like India Kurumandia is a promised land, like some land in heaven, not on earth. And so there was some legend that now I know it comes from history. Coromandel is part of Tamil Nadu, and that's where those Indian ships were coming to Europe, and that they were bringing many riches, many textiles, and all gold and all this incenses and all this. India at that time was a very rich country. And they spread the culture all over the world. And this memory stayed till my generation. But I see now the next generation, they stopped talking about India Kurumandia.
Yes.
And there was, of course, some personal reason I could not go. I had small daughters. They were only 2 and 3 years old. Too old to go, and my family was very much opposed to anything that comes from the East, and especially from an Eastern guru. I'm born in a Christian Orthodox family, and they were just against, and I was threatened, and they would take my children away if I go with them. Yeah, it was completely out of question. And that was a long period. Of course, I was a mother. It's very difficult to leave the children. And I had to wait 12 years.
Oh. So how was your first trip to Baba?
First trip was in 1996. At that time, everything I lived for, my whole family and everything, it collapsed. It was just not coming. And all my dreams were not realized. And I was very sick also. And I knew that only by going to Swami I will survive. So I joined a group of Slovenians. We were 20 in the group, and I just joined actually a tourist group. We were going all around India to other ashrams, also Ramana Maharshi, but of course first we came to Puttaparthi, and that was the most important for me. Yeah. So that was in July 96, and that was actually a very special time. Our Swami always calls us at the best time. I learned that later. But at that time, Swami had 3 or 4 months. Every day he had discourses. It was really a special series of discourses. And he was so accessible. There was so few people, although I thought it's a crowd, because I had an idea of ashram completely different, but that's another story. Anyway, we could come very close to Swami, 96. Yeah. If we got number 1, we were in the first line. But I had that idea of God from Christianity. God is like punishing God, and I had long been told that especially women, we are the cause of all the
disasters.
Disasters and seduction and everything. We are just bad by nature. Being born in a woman's body is not good at all. And so I was a little bit, I was quite scared of Swami, although he was so sweet. But still, if I got number 1, I would sit in the second row, not in the first row. I couldn't have really enjoyed his darshan because of that fear. And that was some days, but then Swami turned it around. One time after darshan line, he always takes a group for interview, and then we could move there very close to the interview. And he came out of the interview, and he started going just towards me. And when he came very close, I was so scared. I said, Swami, no, please stop. And he stopped. But he just gave me I will never forget that look, a look of so much compassion, like, why are you scared of me? I'm just your divine mother. And with that look, I knew I will never be able to leave Swami. And he stole my heart. That very close look that happened even before interview. I knew his love. I knew that I want to be with him. That was all what I knew.
Just one look.
Yeah, just one, really eye-to-eye darshan, close darshan. Yeah, Swami is Chitta Chora. Huh? He steals our heart. I did not understand, but later he showed me that we've been together so many times in other incarnations, and that direct look opened up that closeness of heart-to-heart relationship. And this love, he told me many years later, when I was really very close, and every day I had darshans. Of course, I didn't miss any darshan, and Swami would talk to me mentally. Yeah, he also talked on the physical level, but mostly he would talk to me mentally, and I could understand. And after I was so in bliss, I thought, it's not possible that somebody can give us so much love. And I was never so happy in my life as now, being with him. And he told me, you don't know how much you love me. I said, Swami, but I love... You don't know. So that is the message that I often remember. Because love is immeasurable. Divine love is something we have no idea. Of course, when we come across an avatar, we feel that. But it's going on and on, expansion. And that is just the beginning, what we really are.
No limit. Yeah.
No limit. It is... The ultimate happiness is union with God, and that is for me, that is the most important message he has given me. It's such a revelation, really, because we always think, first, of course, we want love in the family, especially children and partner and all this, but this is all a little bit selfish love. And I always loved Jesus and angels, but I thought that is something different, that is inaccessible. But Swami was in the body, he could make that bridge between divine love and what we experience in the body. And that is something really very precious. Yeah. I understand also why he told me like that, because at that time I was still full of fears. Especially fears that I could not understand. Even as a child, I was so screaming in the night, being scared of like snakes would be attacking me. And this, of course, it has no reason from this life. In our country, there were like cobras biting me. It was, I had nightmares, and I was really very much afraid of snakes. And in one letter I wrote to Swami, I said, Swami, please take all my fears away, because I know they are a barrier. We can't feel the divinity if we are still full of fears. And he started doing that. First, snakes. And of course, in India, there are so many snakes. You have to come across the snake at one time. And one time I was coming here in Puttaparthi from the meditation tree. It used to be a direct path down to the Ganesh gate. And they were telling me, move, like I shouldn't go straight on that path. And I did not know, but I went to the right side and and there was that green, very deadly snake. I don't know.
I'm very scared.
Yeah, me too. It was hanging down, and I was going like this, and I said, I asked myself, where is the fear I should be afraid of, huh? No fear.
Wow.
No fear. Of course, I didn't go right into the snake, but no fear. That was the first experience that he took that fear away. And the second time it was in Brindavan, in Whitefield. After darshan, we are all blissful. At that time, we have no worries. And we used to go behind this school. There's still like a coconut grove. And I wanted to go just straight to the other side. I wanted to read something there. And something told me, stay on the road, on the path. So I went around, and I came to where I wanted. And I sat down, and I started reading. And just very close, like a few meters out of that tall grass, a cobra came out. And it started moving like this. And I had no idea what does that mean. In Slovenia, we don't have cobras, and I didn't have any. No. It was just like, later I learned it's before it strikes, it goes left and right. And I just talked to her. I said, oh, Swami, I know that's you, but I don't like this form of you. Swami is in every preacher. Huh? I said, I will go because I don't like this form. And I started collecting my things and went away. And nothing happened. Of course, I'm still here. Didn't jump on me because I also did not know that it's really...
She could, yeah.
Yes. Sometimes ignorance is good. So I'm no longer afraid of snakes, that's true. Although I don't go on them, we have to be careful with them. But the second very big fear that is very common is fear of death. Mm-hmm. Although I knew about reincarnation, theoretically I was okay. I knew we never die, we are spirit. But when it came to the situation like, something would happen, I was in a cramp because we don't know what happened. So he took that fear away also.
This is the biggest fear.
Yeah, one of the biggest, yeah.
How it happened?
It happened in the hospital. I had a small operation, nothing, just some bleeding and like 20 minutes operation. And because I had some tumor and that bleeding was coming, I had this procedure many times. And before, I've always, when they give you this injection, I always prayed to God that he brings me back because my children were still small, and I knew statistically sometimes operation is okay, but the patient doesn't come back. So I would pray to God, please bring me back to this world. Okay, but this time I didn't do that. I was already speaking all the time to Swami, and when they gave me that, I said, oh Swami, maybe I'm coming to you. And I just finished that idea. It was just mental. I was all over. It was so beautiful. I was in light. I was light. I was just on the other side. And I was there very long time, and many beautiful things happened which proved that I was not just imagining or there. And I did not want to come back because this is the experience of the soul is the most beautiful. This is pure Ananda. A little bit when Swami was like this, I could feel that joy and that bliss. And it was really coming back after some hours of being on the other side. Coming back is contraction, and that is painful. So no wonder babies cry when they come to the world. You don't want to leave that world.
Yes.
And it is very precious that I had that, because now I have no fear. And usually I wouldn't even talk about this because many people think you're just imagining something like drugs. But then one time I heard on Radio Sai, Swami gave similar experiences of the other side of the world of the soul he gave to one student who wasn't sick. He just lay down, and Swami took him to that world, and he was so happy. He was telling how beautiful is there, how you are at the same time in and out. I was looking at my body, and I was all around, and he was telling the same. I said, okay, Swami, you're doing this with others, so I can also tell about him. Definitely, I'm not scared of dying. Actually, after that, my deepest desire is to leave this body and be the soul. That is really
It's beautiful.
And of course, living with Swami was every day was learning about ourselves, about divinity, experiencing that, and that is the most precious. His darshans could make a big difference in life. Of course, they were just pure Ananda. But then when he started choosing to have also sparshan and sambhashana, to speak with him and to touch him, that is another way of getting rid of our karmic debts, our karmas. And each of these stories, the way Swami enacted is very beautiful. Because I long time did not dare to touch him. Although I could have taken Padnamaskar probably 20, 30 times. I was so many times in the first row. In the beginning, he was just giving very good. He was very kind to me, I have to say. And but I never touched his feet.
You didn't have such an idea?
Because, once he stood in front of me, I was so happy I didn't think about it. I forgot. When he went away, I said, again, even the security said, why didn't you touch? Look, he was just all the time, he only came to me and was standing long in front of me. And I was too happy to think about his feet. And maybe it's also our Christian culture. We don't do that.
Yes.
And maybe that was also one of the reasons. But I never touched his feet. And I wanted. It didn't happen. Then he touched me, but not me. He touched, when he blessed the padukas, he touched my hand in Whitefield. I had this padukas for my friend. I already had blessed padukas from him. He blessed them through some other friend. So when I had those padukas, when he blessed them, he also touched my fingers. And at that time, I could feel how, oh my God, it was like a voltage. I was so much light going through my body. I was so surprised because I didn't even expect that he would touch me. And that bliss, I said, oh, Swami, you're so powerful. It was just, I knew that he gives us as much as we can withstand at that point of evolution, not too much. So everything, once we surrender to him, everything happens in the pace he is giving us. And the second sparsha, the touch, happened in Kodaikanal, in last Kodaikanal, 2009. At that time, actually, at that time, I wanted to touch him, but of course, he was. I would never dare to do that. I still had a little bit of that respect, and when he's so effulgent and all this. So somebody gave me a packet of vibhuti, one of my singers, because I was in first line. Oh, that Kodaikanal was so blissful. It was just so many nice things. But I will tell about this sparshan. She gave me the packet of vibhuti, and she asked me to have it blessed by Swami. And I said, okay, I will show him. I will try to do it, but I'm not going to jump on him like some people do, because I'm not of that kind. If he wants, he will come and he will bless it. So I was holding that vibhuti, and in Kodaikanal we have Swami very close, because he goes which side he goes is just there. It's very different from Puttaparthi. So he, on the way there, he was on the other side, and he stopped in front of one Russian, and she had a lot of those letters that she wanted to give to Swami, and they were just falling all over. And I was watching. I was so amazed because I remembered a very similar situation happened to me. I had 36 letters from my country. And Swami was playing with those letters. He didn't want to take them. In 3 days, he was coming to me, talking to me. Oh, big bundle, like he can't take the letters. And she was also, he can make us so like casual, like very on the human level, that we forget about his powers, that he's just our friend. So I was enjoying this conversation and these letters falling all over. And I said, okay, Swami, if you come to me, then you can bless this. And he said, yes, I will. And mentally he said, yes, I will come on the way back. So I knew he would come, and he did. Yeah, he went first to the men's side, or in that tour around the men's side. And then he came straight across the men's side. I knew he was going to me. And usually Swami, when he blesses, he would do like this, and he goes fast, because there's so many devotees. But he came to me, and he put his hand on the packet, and he didn't move it. He didn't do like blessing. He just put his hand on the packet, and he told me mentally, now you can do what you always wanted to do. And I wanted to caress to touch his hand, not his feet, because at that time I was already painting, and I was painting his hands. There's many, and I always admired his hands, and I had that deep desire to touch his hand, and I started caressing his hand, and of course everybody who had this sparshana, the divine touch, knows how Swami's skin is soft and fragrant, and it's much nicer than baby skin. I'm a mother, I know, but his divine skin. And I was just caressing and caressing, and I don't know, all of a sudden, there was not Swami, but he turned into Bala Krishna, into small Krishna. And I was like a mother to him. And it was so divine. I saw him as small Bala Krishna. And that, of course, was, then I went into bliss. I don't know how long he was there. I have no idea, but total bliss. And I came back from that bliss when the woman sitting next to me, she hugged me. It was so, because Swami was right there. It was like Swami would be sitting here. You would enjoy all this. So she hugged me, and I will never forget him as Bala Krishna. And I don't know if he enacted this because I was at that time already 4 times grandmother, and I have never seen my grandchildren because I stayed permanently with Swami. I didn't want to go anywhere. I was like 20 years, all the time in India. I didn't go on. I didn't want to miss one darshan and do nothing. So sometimes I would say, maybe as a grandmother, you miss the babies, you miss your grandchildren. Or was it from some life before? We don't know, but
maybe altogether.
Altogether, maybe, yeah, because his name is like all the Gopala and the Madhusudana even, but it has nothing to do with Whitefield, with that other Madhusudana. Yeah, but all these names always I felt so, and his Leelas, Bhagavata and all this, they were so close to me, and like I have known them forever. It's not that I read about them. It's just like I would revive them. So maybe it was all together. We don't know. Yeah, but it was very beautiful. Yeah, there was one other situation that Swami revealed my like past lives. He would tell us that we don't know how much good we did in our past life, that we could come to him. But I somehow did not believe that. I said, no, not me. And he was systematically building up my self-confidence, and my I had too small image of myself, of the goodness that the soul has. And of course, if we live this life, any religion is good. We should have that confidence that his students have, that they are divine. And Swami would. There's a lot of the way he was building up my self-confidence and fears of also being in front or a conductor. I would never be a conductor. He didn't make it. And one thing that really changed my life when I was physically very weak, I had one accident and I couldn't do anything, is when he told me in Whitefield to learn Vedas. That is another story. Yes, when he told me, at first I thought he's joking, because he knew my memory was finished at that time. I had concussion, and I was more than 1 year in hospital. I had broken bones and all this. So I was not able to memorize anything. But Swami would not stop. If I started and I couldn't memorize and I stopped, Swami, no, you have to learn. And then he used my husband. He woke up in the middle of the night and told, learn Vedas, learn Vedas. And then I knew that he really wants me to do that, yeah. And this learning Vedas was something very, very special, because my memory was still not good, but I could chant. I could memorize those Sanskrit mantras.
By sound,
yeah, just by sound. I did. Yeah, at that time there was no teachers around, and some of the specialists like Durga Sukta, some of the, or even Rudram, they would just come to me very, very fast, and I would chant with this chanters in the mandir, of course, and it was something. For me, that was really a way of being in another world that I loved very much. I did not know that this healing process was going, because nobody told me. There are researches, but I didn't read about that Vedic mantras can be so much powerful in restoring memory. Also, I had this voice problem, and even my bones and everything, as broken spine and ribs and all this. All health issues can be improved by chanting. And I am a living example of that, because I am officially a disabled person. The Slovenian medical committee gave me a degree of disability, so I'm like finished for work. And now I can chant for hours and hours. And Swami knew that. He brought that up. And I'm so happy he did. So this is not just experiment, but many people, even Vedanarayanan was telling about how his health improved by chanting. He also did not know in the beginning. We don't know. But Swami he's the best guru. He always gives us the way that is the best for us. And once we just follow him, nothing can go wrong. And that is the beauty of being. And he's doing this even now that he's not in the body. He can come to the dreams, and he gave me many dreams, or guide us through some readings, or meeting the right people to get. He is really very, very powerful and excellent guru, I would say, even now that he's not in the body. And in connection with this Vedas, I have also one story about about Rameshwaram. Rameshwaram is one of the Shivite places, holy places that the Shivites have to visit. It's right next to Lanka. That's where that Setu bridge was built. And I've always wanted to go there for no real reason. My husband said, "Why there's..." And when I came there, it was when we finally went there. And when we came there, it was that feeling of déjà vu. I've already been there. I knew everything, and so many interesting things were happening there. That temple is really Jyotirlingam, and I mean so beautiful. One of the most biggest masterpieces in the world, of course. And when we came back, there's long stories about Rameshwaram, but just to give this connection about previous night. When we came back, I think on the second and third day in the morning, around 4 o'clock, Muhurta, Brahma Muhurta time, I woke up usually, and I sat up, and I was shocked. I could see coming from, it was like I was in Rameshwaram. And I could see myself, I had that near-death experience when I could see my body down and I was up, you know? And that was the same feeling. I could see my soul at that time was in a man's body, and like that man is watching what I'm watching now, because soul is omnipresent, it has no time. And it was one huge vehicle coming, like shining, like all diamonds, coming closer. And I never watched any this Star Trek movies and all, because I did not believe in spaceships and all this. I thought they are stupid to do. So I was completely ignorant. I didn't see one movie about that, but this movie was very real, you know. That vehicle was coming closer and closer. Yeah, it was like spaceship. Yeah, Vimana Pushpaka is that where they came from Lanka. You know, after the battle there, it's in Ramayana. After Rama got Sita back and finished with Ravana, they came with that Vimana Pushpaka towards the Rameshwaram.
And you saw that.
And I saw that, and what that Vimana Pushpaka didn't make any noise. You know, it was like slowly coming, and all of a sudden I could. Oh yeah, they were so big. Those Rama, I could see Rama as a giant, and I knew that Swami because I've always adored Rama. Oh my God, he was so giant, and same beautiful smile and same energies as Swami. And then I looked to the right side, and there was Sita. And Sita was even more beautiful. I was a man. I've never seen such a beautiful woman in my life, and I got completely crazy. That was what was happening down with this Ritvik. I knew I was a Ritvik because I had that sacred breath. And, you know, I did something I would never do in this incarnation, because that's not... When Indians get very excited about gods,
Yes.
what they do, they jump up. Yeah, they do. I did Sita. I jumped up, you know, because she was so beautiful, and I was just so attracted to her. And she gave me Abhaya Hasta. She blessed me, and that blessing was the same as Swami was blessing. I got probably more than 20 blessings directly from Swami, and each one has a story. So Sita gave that blessing. And I knew that is Swami. Yeah, Swami is Sitarama, he is both. So I saw Swami as Rama and as Sita, and that our connection is very, very long. And that's also the reason why I can chant Vedas. Of course, I was chanting them. That happened 20,000 years ago.
Wow.
Swami told many people, even Indians, don't know the timing of Ramayana. And Swami told foreigners in one interview, when they asked when was Krishna and when was Rama, Swami said, 20,000 years ago. And I really, now I understand why Swami says, don't waste this opportunity that you are with me. Don't waste life. After you've been with me so many times. We know why we are born. We are born not to be born again, to attain liberation. And we know what we have to do because Swami has given us so many discourses and many other interviews and all these teachings. And it is important not to waste the life. And it's so beautiful to see these young people like you. You haven't, have you seen Swami?
Yes.
Oh, you have, okay. But some, I see that these people, very young, they are coming here to Swami and haven't seen even, and still his love is here, and he can guide. It's so nice. Okay, so you have seen him, so you know what I'm talking about. It's so nice. There's many more stories, of course, Swami. In 20 years, he gave so many, but it is this realization that I know I had many lifetimes in India. That's why I feel this country. So yeah. It is different culture, of course, from this life, but otherwise it is still observing Vedic norms like Matru Pita Devo Baba, Pitru Devo Baba, Acharya Devo Baba, and Titi Devo Baba. This Sanatana Dharma, what is the basis of all religions, I see now how it is present also in Christianity, how my mother knew it, although she never studied, but she would treat a guest like God, and Acharya, the teacher, was like God, and of course mother and father were gods. So there were these Vedic injunctions that are present in all religions, and now they are going away, unfortunately. This is Kali Yuga. But it's our duty, if Swami opened up this and revealed us this Sanatana Dharma and gave us so much knowledge, it's our duty to spread it, to share, to share that and through experience we know we are immortal, and we have to tell that, because it is actually very optimistic life. I have to say that I'm much more happy than I'm now 72, and when I was 27, I was very, very pessimistic and depressed and full of diseases. And Swami has removed physical ailments and problems through this, through the mental change, the awareness. Once the awareness changes that we are primarily soul, then the physical body follows. Like with mantras, we can do that, or with just living his teachings. Through seva.
That's why you look like you're 20.
Oh yeah. It's not about the physical, but I'm speaking about this inner peace. Prashanti is the supreme peace. What we have here in Puttaparth, in Prashanti Nilayam, there's nowhere in the world. Prashanti Nilayam is the spiritual center of the world. And I know people will come and will always come, because wherever God incarnated as Rama or Krishna or Shirdi Baba, Satya Sai Baba, and Prema Baba will come. So these places will be center of attraction, because because we want to be with light. Light is so attractive. That jyoti, those jyoti lingams are very powerful. I touched one in Sri Sailam, and I was 3 days. I was there it is that Swami magnetized that. It's many lingams he rejuvenated. He
By
put
himself, yeah.
he put his divine power to those that were there, but with years some lost the attraction, the power, and Swami went all around India and did many of this temple rejuvenation. And I know we traveled also with my husband. We traveled a lot, and later I realized how he had just guided us to go to the places where he was there. Like Rameshwaram, I also did not know I would have this nice experiences, and Swami was there. And so it is just so nice to know.
I wanted to ask you about how you start teaching also bhajans, how you start teaching Vedas, because you had so many groups and your experience.
Yeah, I did not want to do that. I was very happy that I could sing. That was very easy for me, singing bhajans. First years I was staying mostly in Vrindavan, because I would come like in December and then would be till June there. And in Vrindavan, they had like a mini Akhanda bhajan. Every Sunday they were singing bhajans. Every Sunday, from 8 to 4, I think, or something like that. So we learn, and foreigners, overseas devotees, we had to also sing when not on mic, but Swami was right there. And then I was playing just shrutis, because there was nobody to play harmonium and shrutis, and singing. And bhajans was no problem, because I could always sing well. My mother was a good singer, and music was also in church. I was part of the choir, and music is really beautiful conversation with God, and that gives us possibility to feel, to connect, to feel divinity, to spread divinity. I had very good teachers of music. I'm very happy Swami really provided. And we had one very talented, she was Indian, but with British passport. And she taught us, Anjana, she taught us beautiful bhajans, really very rare. Many of them are like vintage bhajan, like Chandra Shekhara. We were singing that one. And, but then she just left. 2007, she went to Great Britain, and we overseas devotees, we were without teacher. And Mahashivaratri was approaching, and we were always singing also in Puttaparthi for Kanda Bhajan, and for November, and for Mahashivaratri in February, or March, whatever months it comes on. And there was, we had no teacher, and then they said, okay, Anna, you know the Shrutis. We had a small group, and Swami sent some good singers, so we sang for Mahashivaratri, and then came our teacher Shanti. She was just playing harmonium. She was professional musician in Indian, but she never sang, And we had such a small group. I said, Ashanti, please sing. Every voice is precious. We have to sing in the mandir. There is no mic. We have to be a group that people can hear us. And she started singing, so beautiful voice. She's now teaching sometimes in Anantapur. She had beautiful voice that she would probably never even use, because many musicians in India, they just play their instrument, they don't sing. So she started singing.
Wow.
And we were so happy. She taught us so many bhajans. But she also left. So that's how I started to teach, because Swami no one there. Of course, I know my limitations. First is my old voice, and I did study a little bit of Carnatic music, just to know a little bit about ragas. and just to understand ragas, and I had musical background in my country, but that's not the same. Anyway, Swami puts you there, and you have to do it. He makes you, he qualifies you for what you're doing. Although I think what in these groups, because choir singing is completely different than solo here I just was praying to Swami to make this unity, to make one voice out of the singing, and that's the beauty. Huh? It's a little bit of how we feel. We felt one-to-one soul connection, yeah, and that's always beautiful, yeah. And Swami also helped a lot. That his way of helping was really, like in 2000, I think it was Mahashivarati 2015 or Akhanda Bhajan. He was materializing Vibhuti right during our practices, you know. It was really, and he would throw flowers also in our practice one time. And he would show, he would come to the dreams of some of the ladies and tell about this and that, how we are together and singing together. So Swami does give us little signs of his support. But we never know. I say, Swami, you will probably find somebody younger than me to do this job. When time comes, of course, it will happen. Yeah, and teaching Vedam was connected with his command to do that. I learned Vedas myself, and then after Atirudra Mahayagna in 2006. Swami really, and everybody got this impulse of learning Vedam chanting. The students were teaching in Swami's presence in the mandir, and at that time I already chanted Rudram, and I have beautiful memory. I had no idea what Atirudra Mahayagna actually means. And we wanted to go with my husband to Orissa, and I was on the way to Chennai because we said we need a little bit of a break. And Swami called me from Chennai. He made one nice lila, and all of a sudden I was in Puttaparthi at the day when the yagna started, and when Swami materialized, you know, that eye. And this on the Saishwara Lingam, I could see that so close. It was also His grace. He was quite far away. I was front because I thought everybody who knows chanting can sit front. So I went front, and it wasn't like that. When they started chanting, I was the only one chanting, and those ladies were something else. So, but he made me sit right there in front. And I could see how he materialized and put that third eye on the Saishwara Lingam, and that golden, so close. How he could change time. He could change the space. He could make it like he's doing it right here. Beautiful, beautiful memories of this Atirudra Mahayagna.
And then you started to teach?
Yeah, I did not want to teach because I didn't feel qualified. But there was no teacher. And they wanted, the foreign ladies wanted to make a program for Swami. There was a group of ladies from all over the world who we were like permanent devotees living in Puttaparthi. So we did not belong back to the Sai centers in our countries. And those Sai centers were coming and making big programs for Swami, and we couldn't because we had no land on our country was gone here. We didn't belong to any, and we actually got permission from for the Ladies' Day to make a program for Swami, singing bhajans and chanting Vedas. That's how I started to teach Vedam. Yeah. And I also was teaching Vedam in schools.
In schools? Swami
yes.
schools?
No, Swami schools. Schools around little children, yeah, because they wanted. I used to have, oh my God, so many schools, like 5, 6 schools in a week. Every day I would go to another school, because also, and in Buddha Party, even some Indians, they wanted me to teach. There was no teachers, very few. I had, for a very short time, this Gayatri, one older lady, she actually taught me how to teach Vedam, because I had no idea how to teach. It's a certain procedure. But then she went also back to Chennai or somewhere, and we made a recording for Swami, like an international ladies chanting Rudram. We made a CD for one of the festivals, maybe Sahasra Purna Chandra Mahotsavam. Yeah, we sent this to Swami, and Swami was very happy listening to. We were like 9 ladies from 4 countries chanting Rudram and some other suktas. So we were like a big group of ladies from all over the world, sometimes over 200, mostly for Akhanda Bhajan singing. And then those ladies went back to their countries, most of them. And that was in 2010, when the programs for Swami were less and less. Even those who were already selected by Sai organization, they couldn't have a chance to do it because Swami was retiring. We know what happened in 2011 in April. Yeah. So that program didn't happen.
About Vedas?
No, about Vedas. And we wanted to have a program for Swami with Vedam chanting and some songs and bhajan, like other group. But something happened which, on Mahasamadhi, when Swami left the body, that was something, in a way, very, of course we cried, we couldn't believe, and we were just like lost. But at the same time, I could feel connection with Swami, and I could mentally talk to him just like when he was in the body. And at that time, of course, it was a big surprise. Although Swami was slowly showing that he will leave the body, but I never thought he would. So there was no program for Mahasamadhi program because it was unexpected, and they asked the Western Canteen group also to sing bhajans in the night. 2 times we sang. On the 12th and 13th, we sang bhajan to Swami. And I was outside. I couldn't even come to ashram, and I had no idea that they were practicing. And then somebody called me because already at that time I was teaching, and I knew which bhajans the ladies know, because it was no time to really teach. We just selected only bhajans that the group would know, that those ladies would know. So I came back, and then we sang, and in that group there were some ladies who have never seen Swami in body. They were called only for Mahasamadhi, and some planned only to stay a day or 2, but then they stayed longer because there was so much love at that time. It was April. It was so hot. It was so difficult. But that special love, I don't know what Swami did that. But
how changed your life? What changes was before Samadhi and after Samadhi? Did this connection with Swami continue in your life?
Sai Ram, I have to say that everything changed, especially in the first moment when we learned about that. Because I never even thought about that. I thought it would be, how can we think that Swami will leave the body before he said he will? I was so attached to him. I don't know, he made me attached so much. And I would cry every darshan. And I just could not imagine life without Swami in physical form. But when it happened, I could see I have this heart-to-heart connection, the same. It was the same Swami's conversation and dialogue and what we had life before, because for so many years we couldn't come closer to him to speak on the physical level, and also he decided to have this inner connection with God, and that helped a lot. But still, it was such a shock. I thought I prayed to Swami, you just take me like Kunti. She learned about Krishna living, and Swami took her. She was liberated. And I was praying he would do the same with me, especially on the very day when yeah, and also when they put him there in tomb, and it was everybody was crying, and it was very special in a way that so much Swami's love was in everybody, in everything around. We knew he is with us. He didn't go anywhere. Of course not. God doesn't go. But for many years, actually for about 5-6 years, I thought that life has no real meaning without Swami in body. Yeah. And that sorrow and this in that deep sorrow of losing our loving Swami, I think many were seeking for something bright, and one of the ideas was that Swami will come back. There was quite many people believe that Swami will come back in the same form, or like Satya Sai. And I was also hoping, and well, Swami can do anything. Huh? I even had some dreams, and I think Swami gave me those dreams only to help me bridge this sorrow. He gave me actually a lot of dreams, and in those dreams it was the same loving mother. Everything I needed from him, he would give me on the emotional level and also in life. Nothing really changed, but everything changed. His leelas, when he was in body, I mean, they're so special. Although he's still making some leelas, yeah, he's still doing it. Yeah. And then we felt like lost. My husband, he was still around at that time. We did not know should we go out of India or not, but we felt like, no, this is our home. Swami made home for us. And so we didn't go anywhere. And especially Puttaparthi, but also other places where he called us, Kodaikanal and Shimla, and we were always following him. So we had so many nice memories, and it was like, no, we don't fit in the other world, I think. So we stayed all the time here, and actually, yeah, from 2000, I'm just permanently here, and still don't know what will happen, because everything is in his hands. Life is no longer, we stopped thinking and planning because Swami would change everything. And I prayed for that in the beginning. I kept saying, not mine, thy will be done. And it started unfolding like that. And that was good, of course. I would never have thought that he can help in so many ways like he did. So we just kept being here and concentrated more on our sevas. We did.
What you did?
With my husband, we did mostly medical seva. Before and after, yeah. Of course, Actually, he studied this homeopathic medicine in the Himalayas a long time before, and he wrote a book, and Swami blessed that book, and I was doing vibrionics, and I'm still doing, and that helped a lot to do seva. Yeah. We had more than 40,000 patients, and Swami just healed them, cured them. It is even some cases like terminal diseases, he would cure, he would help. And I don't know what helped so more. Is it our prayer or that medicine or together? We don't know, but it works. It still does. And I'm happy that he gave me this seva, and also singing bhajans and Vedas. Of course,
it helps.
Yeah, it helps. Yeah. So seva is for sure a way of, it helps us more than those we give seva to, because it's all, everything what we do for other people is good for us, and that is nice experience. And also Swami encouraged me to paint. He would say, even recently, he said, he came into my dream and he said, "Why aren't you painting?" And it's true, I stopped this last 2-3 years because my husband was so sick, he was bedridden, and I stopped painting, and now he's no more, and I couldn't start again. And Swami said, it's so easy to paint. And he took one of my unfinished paintings and he showed me. His charan was not well done, so he outlined his toes one by one, and he showed me. He said, "You see, it's very easy." So painting for sure helps me a lot, because I'm so connected with him. Whatever, even if I paint the nature, some flowers or whatever, but mostly I like to paint Swami. And of course I have no knowledge, just Swami's painting. So that for sure is a very nice way of connecting with him. And I had some interesting experiences, like with this painting, when I was painting his mother, Ishwarama.
Yes, we will show maybe.
Yes, Ishwarama. Okay, well, Swami also materialized Vibhuti on many of my paintings, on my husband's book, encouraging us both to just continue. I don't know how, like this.
Yes.
For some time he was materializing a lot of Vibhuti, and that was like, this is healing Vibhuti also. Our patients got much better with this kind of Vibhuti. We know Vibhuti by itself is medicine. So this was also telling, yes, both this art and healing. You just continue, you go on with that.
Please tell us about this picture.
This one I painted in April. We were waiting for Swami to go either to Kodaikanal or to Whitefield. I know it was very hot, maybe March or April, but it was extremely hot. And I had a small photo. I always have a photo to look. And I started painting this Mother Ishwarama. And I said, "Swami, you paint, because you know how your mother looked." I did not know. And so that process of painting is very nice, but I know he was just doing it. And after some, 2 hours of painting, I put the canvas on the chair, and I wanted to have a look at it. I said, "Swami, what did you make?" And then I said, "Oh, Mother Ishwarama, I'm I'm so grateful you gave us Swami. Without you, we wouldn't have Swami. It was really that I don't know. I was overwhelmed with that gratitude and that love she gave to Swami, and that supreme. She's the chosen mother. Huh? She's the mother and of Swami. So when I was this heart connection with her, all of a sudden she came out of the painting and she was standing in front of me, like you're standing, you know. And I was really very surprised, but in a way I knew she's alive. She smiled at me. She was just there, and we were just looking like both mothers. And I was so happy. I knew Swami is there also, and I don't know how long she was there, because I was in awe. Of course, it's something very special, but I could feel very well her presence, and I could see her. That is the second time that I know Swami can appear in a body, or Ishwarama also can appear in a body. And later, very soon, Swami was telling in one of the discourses how his mother is still alive, how she's coming to
devotees.
To him, to see him. She wanted to be with him, and he was saying, "You go, you will disturb this students that were with him and all this." And I remember they were like having their. She said, "No, I want to be with you. This is mother's." And she said, "What do you know about mother's love?" Something like that. She was so sweet with him. And yes, of course, Swami wanted to, also to tell me she's still around. She was with him. I think she didn't leave him until he left. Yes, because Satyajit and all this, they could hear that she comes and is with Swami. So I had a darshan of Ishwarama.
Yeah, it's so nice. Yeah, it's very nice stories. And Swami appeared
in my house in that was long time ago, 1999. He appeared in our house in Slovenia, and that was on Diwali. I was actually in Ljubljana. At the interview, we got that robe for the Sai Center, so we set up the Sai Center, and I was quite active in the first years in the Sai Center. And after that celebration, it's light, Diwali is light. So when I came home, our house was all lit up. And when I entered, I could feel Swami's presence, but I thought I'm imagining. I could smell jasmine, and of course jasmine doesn't grow in Slovenia, it's in Europe. And I said, but where is everybody? I couldn't see anybody. And then I found my younger daughter. She was upstairs in her bedroom, and she had her boots on and all the clothes, and usually she would not go to bed with boots. And I knew something happened, but I was not worried. I said, maybe she's in love. She was a teenager, and because she signaled like she doesn't want to speak to me. It must have been a shock to her. Anyway, I had no idea, but I didn't really worry. I said, okay, it's something happened, but and I went to sleep. And next day, my eldest daughter, she's more like
strict.
She was a little bit making fun of Swami, like she would call him Chupko. Chupko means somebody with big hair, Chupko. Oh, your Chupko is everywhere, because I had a small Sai group in my house. And of course, Swami's photos were everywhere. And so she said, Mom, you know who came yesterday? Your Chupko came. Chupko. I said, what, Swami came? She said, yes, and then she showed me where he came. He appeared in front of my youngest daughter. She said, he stood like there, in front of Yera. He stood and just looked at her. And of course it must have been a shock, but Swami appeared because all my family thought I'm crazy, and that of course nobody believed he's God, and especially my youngest daughter, she was more more pious, I think, more connected. Well, she must have deserved that darshan of Swami, and he wanted to help. He wanted to show that their mother is not crazy, that he's really God, because I said, Swami was at that time, at the same time in Puttaparthi. He had big celebration of Diwali. So this is clear sign that only God can appear in body at two places. But, and I thought, now it's a proof, Swami is God, everybody will believe, but of course that was too soon. Everything happens at the right time. Nobody believed. Even people in Sai Center, even Swami's devotees could not believe. They thought I'm making it up. And I was so surprised, because in 99 Swami was not appearing so much later, or we did not know. And I asked in Sai Center, I said, do you know if Swami came to any other place in Slovenia? I wanted to hear about similar stories in my country. And they were just looking, and what are you talking about? About Swami appearing in body. It was unbelievable. So I told my daughters, you don't talk about it, because then they will say you're as crazy as your mother. It's just everything comes at the right time, and we have to grow up and be ready that he appears in front of us in this way, or this he calls us, But anyway, I knew that from that time on, he will take care of my daughters. And I knew that our place is like a mandir, like ashram, like wherever Avatar's foot steps, it's a mandir. And I could really give that burden of being a mother and leaving these teenagers at home to him. And that was a big, big relief.
Рисовать. Anna, how you start painting?
This actually was also prompted by Swami. I always liked art. And I used to go to art galleries all over Europe and museums, and because God is Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. Sundaram is that beauty aspect of God. And I thought art is, it is like language connected with God many times. Many forms of art got inspiration in God, even in Europe. Like they told us in the Middle Ages, it was like Dark Ages because people were not so developed. But I said, why could they make those beautiful Gothic cathedrals if they were not so developed? How could they build that? In Europe, you have beautiful, and even our church in my town was a Gothic church, and I somehow the way they teach art is not really I don't agree, and I think when God expresses his possibilities, himself, then it's really pure art. And later in school, they teach different. Even in here in India, the same. They don't give the right value to temples, to that beautiful art that is in temples. Mm-hmm. So this prompting, this clear signal that he wants me to paint came in 2007 when I started leading this bhajan group. And we had nice, it was a Khanda bhajan, we had nice singing at that time. And somehow it turned out that I could sit in the first row because some people leave after Swami retires. So I was in the first row, and Khanda bhajan is 24 hours. I knew he will come back. And I just a few weeks before I started to play, because he would say, yeah, at that time I was very sick. I did not know what to do, and because of that accident. So one of the way he was telling me is start painting mentally. Mm-hmm. So my first painting was this Saishwara Lingam, this white lingam from Atirudra Mahayagnam. It's easy to paint. I was just it was a small painting, and I started. I didn't even sign, I know, because I didn't think. But then when I realized that I'm sitting there, I had also some letters from my countries, from people who were sending me letters to give to Swami. And at that time it was very difficult to give to him, because we just could not come into the first row, even if we got token number 1. And then I said, okay, I will go home. I collected those letters, and I put my little picture, painting. I said, okay, maybe he will also bless it, or somehow tell me that he wants me to continue painting. So after some time, I would come in because it's allowed to bring paintings in the mandir, and I don't remember was it in the morning or in the night, but all of a sudden Swami appeared, and usually for festivals he doesn't take letters or many things, because they tell no, festivals are festivals. But when he came out of the Yajur Mandir, he was like going, I knew he would go to me. He was pointing with his finger on my this pack of letters and painting, and he took everything.
So he blessed.
Yeah, in this way he told me. I thought, okay, if he likes, if it's good for Swami, it will be good also for me. And I asked him, and he gave a clear answer. Yes, you do painting.
It calls Saishwara Lingam.
Saishwara Lingam, yeah. Very few of them, because like 50 I donated to my friends. They went all around. I'm not selling them. It's just a play with Swami. I always think he's doing, not me. I did knowledge of how to do this Ganesh. Some French, she taught me how these dimensions and how to do this. I was teaching her English, and she did that for me. And then I just started. And when Swami took that Saishwaraya Lingam, then I was sure, he wants me to paint. And many times later, when I would stop, he would again encourage me to paint. So this mandir is mainly selected like Sarvadharma. I have some paintings or some symbols from each religion. I may just start with my perception of Christ, which and this is the Last Supper. This is, of course, I bought. That is not a painting, huh? But these two are from my own religion. And of course, I have Sarasvati there. I painted, and this is just a statue of it. Sarasvati, yeah. And this is the Buddha that I just copied from the statue in ashram.
Yeah. Beautiful Buddha. Anna, you chant Vedas, you teach in Vedas, and how it influences on your life? What changed give it in your life?
It's changed a lot. I really did not know when I started that it will change so much. With Vedas, we learn Vedas are so vast, and they give us so much knowledge, and Swami would correct my ignorance, because I come from Christian background, and we don't know about the Vedas and so many gods. It's in Christianity and Sanatana Dharma are a little bit different. So one of the aspects in Christianity is that you have to be poor to be eligible to go to heaven, like Jesus wanted. It's for rich people, they can't. They have a chance to go to heaven only through that hole, the needle, and that is very deeply impressed in. That was quite deeply impressed in my life and in Christianity. That only poor people can go to heaven. So when Swami told me to chant, they were chanting Shri Suktam, they were chanting in the mandir, and Mahalakshmi, that was the only goddess I did not want to really, I could not connect with her, because everybody is worshipping us for wealth and money and this. I could chant Durga Suktam, I could chant Shri Suktam, but it was not like sincere. I can't adore this goddess. Was not right. And Swami gave me a lesson. She gave me a lesson, very, very clear. It happened in Tirupati. We went to Tirupati. We didn't even plan so much, and it is very impressive. It's so huge pilgrimage place, and there's millions of Indians. They worship all different aspects, of course, mostly Venkatesha, Balaji. And all that Tirupati was, I said, what are we doing here? We have Swami Buddha party, so nice. Why are we standing in line, and all that money, they give a lot of money. And in a way it is very powerful pilgrimage center. But I said, no, Swami our Buddha party is very, very nice. But at the end of the day, we said we'll spend only one day. At the end of the day, we were waiting for the bus to come, and we were tired after seeing so many temples and all that experience. And there was one temple all lit up, like golden, and I said, we haven't been there. Shall we go and see who is the goddess? And my husband said, we've seen so many. So, but finally I said, this is so glittering now. So we went there, and there were very few people, because it was late. It was about 9:30 or 10 o'clock in the night. And so when we came in, we did not know
what's inside.
Yeah, what's inside, yeah. And all of a sudden we were in front of this pujari who brought the idol, and went around and when I was like this to him, he showed me that idol, and it was Mahalakshmi. And I was so surprised, because all of a sudden that idol became alive. And she was angry with me. She said, "You worship me, I'm also goddess." And the way she said that, it was, I was so shocked, because that idol became like lightning. Huh? She was angry that I don't worship her. And then I came out all pale. My husband said, "What happened?" I said, she's not happy with my way of chanting Shri Suktam. Then many things changed.
And what happened later?
I was so shocked, because I did not have any kind of experience like that a god or a goddess could be so angry. She was angry with me, really. She gave me a lesson.
It scared you?
Yeah, she scared me. And many things changed after I started worshipping her. I mean, worshipping and giving her the right place
in your life.
Yeah. So this incident really changed. It was too dramatic. I said, I have to do something. And later on, I realized that actually everything what she is in charge of not only wealth and money, it's also health and name and fame and family and food and what we need in life. She is in charge of. She is Narayani. She is like Swami's consort. And of course, we cannot just ignore this as a very important aspect. When we are in body, we need her. We need her blessing. And at that time, I was very sick. So she's in charge of health. And my health improved, of course, with chanting Vedas, but also having the right attitude towards the deities that I'm chanting. Sri Suktam and also other aspects of Devis. I knew from Christianity I could pray to Mother Mary. That was okay. I knew she would take care of. But with this Indian goddesses, Durga was okay. And of course, my Sarasvati, Mahasaraswati. Yeah, that was like, it's been with me all the time. But not Mahalakshmi. Anyway, she did change a lot, and she took care of my family, of my financial situation, my health, especially my health, I think and so now I understand better this Indian gods and goddesses. Yeah.
And would you tell the story about Saraswati? Why you are Saraswati?
Yeah, I did not know I am Saraswati. Swami told me. Of course, my family also did not know. They gave me the name of Jesus' grandmother, Anna. Mm-hmm. Anna was Jesus' grandmother. And Anna is a very common name in my country. There's many churches consecrated to Saint Anna. And in our church, she was on the left side, on the woman's side, and then men's side there was Mother Mary. And she was always depicted with black hair. She would be holding a book in her hand and a mala, of course. And very little was known about Jesus' grandmother. Mm-hmm. Only that she was very knowledgeable, and she passed that knowledge to Mother Mary. Yeah. So first years when I was coming to Swami, I stayed a lot of time in Whitefield, and there you have Saraswati is there, right in front of the temple, and holding that veena. Music was always dear to me, and book, and she somehow I could connect with her very much. I could talk to her, and she symbolized what I worship in life. And at that time I noticed that many devotees, they picked up some spiritual name, and I thought, maybe I will ask Swami if I could take up her name of Sarasvati. So in Whitefield, it was in a way very easy to come to Swami. It was also in those years before 2000, because Swami would go here and there. I have many nice stories actually from Whitefield. Yeah, coming close to Swami. Also how he sent the special darshans and some flowers and all. But at that darshan, I asked Swami if I can take up the name of Goddess Sarasvati. And he looked into my eyes and he said, "You are Sarasvati." And I said, "What is that? You are Sarasvati? What does that mean?" Huh? Because Swami would usually say yes, yes, yes. I don't know if usually he didn't say no. Huh? And I said, okay, maybe he thinks I can take up this name. And I started slowly using this spiritual name, Anna Sarasvati Konjar. Yeah. Sometimes I would think, whatever Swami says has more meanings. Why didn't he say just yes? Huh? But somehow I couldn't find any answer. And then I started even teaching Vedas. And of course, I like books. Everywhere I have books and
like
music
painting,
and
yes.
painting and everything she symbolizes. It's very close to me. So she does symbolize my that part of life, art and all this. But I did not know exactly what Swami meant with "You are Sarasvati" until I got the answer from Vedanarayanan. When he was listening to my students chanting, also Rudram and Sri Suktam, he was very much impressed. And one time he told them, the students he said, "You are very lucky to have a teacher who is 2 times Sarasvati." I said, "What is this 2 times Sarasvati?" And then he told that Anna is like a synonym of Goddess Sarasvati, because she is the goddess of prana, apana, vyana, samana, udana, jnana, life forces. And this is so Anna.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how I understood why Swami said, "You are Sarasvati." This is only one aspect of how I'm realizing that Vedas are not only for India, for Bharat, that they have always been for the whole world, just like Swami is saying. He would, first years I was in Whitefield when he would have this special teaching for students about their culture, Indian culture and spirituality, and he would always call me very front. I would be sitting behind the students and I was all ears and everything he was telling I loved, and it was like, again, like remembering from some I could
Past lives.
Yeah, I could connect with everything he said so easily. And I know that this Sanatana Dharma is for the whole world. Vedas are for the whole world, not for only Indians. Yeah.
And
Yeah. And I come from a very small nation, Slovenian nation, only 2 million now. But in the past, it's a very old nation, and the Slovenian language is very, very old. And it has actually very similarities with Sanskrit. The grammar and many names also, it is not known. And also this presence of God in Slovenian nation. They were very pious people, my ancestors, and we have churches all over the country. In the middle of the forest there would be a church, and or just a chapel, and it was it became very clear to me that this nation survived only through the grace of God, because they prayed to God. Otherwise, it was impossible. There were those Germanic tribes they were taking, they were more aggressive and all this. So somehow this connection with God make the Slovenian people survive.
Oh. Anna, you mentioned that you had different lilas in Whitefield. Can you please share with us?
Yeah, Whitefield was very special for me because that was the beginning of our love story with my love story with Swami. It was just Swami would be opening up my heart, and I would be so happy singing bhajans, and it was all celebrations and those festivals, and but then would come a time I had to go back to make a living, to earn some money, because Swami said you have to live from your own resources, and I had still my daughters. So it was very difficult to
Leave him.
Yeah. I would cry and cry. Anyway, I was crying every darshan. I don't know, were this the tears of bliss or sorrow? I think both. Anyway, Swami was all the time working on us, yeah. But I remember very, very clearly when it was one of the last darshans, and they say Swami never cries. You don't see Swami crying. But I was saying, Swami, you don't care if I go or not. And I was really desperate. I couldn't imagine leaving him. Once, I don't know why I had this immediate, even first time when I came to Puttaparthi, I got in love with everything, even those boulders, those there were no trees almost, those rocks, and I just wanted to stay here with him for no reason. I knew I can't leave him, and I was saying to those beautiful trees, you will be here with Swami and I'll have to go, and even wrote a poem about that. And in one darshan he showed me very clearly that he's crying. I could see his tear coming out of his and that made me even more crying because I could see how he's compassionate. His compassion was overwhelming, and he was just giving these little signs that we are dear to him. Swami says God is in search of a true devotee, not that we are in search of God. And we were always running after him. And all these teachings changed my perspective that he really cares for us. He's so compassionate. And one of the signs of that he knows that I'm going, that I'm leaving, was also, I think, one of the last days, there was this summer showers in Bangalore. There's big rain coming in April. There's a lot of really heavy rain, and that water was coming from Swami's house down to that bookstore. It was like a torrent, like a small river, and I was staying in the mandir. So I was sitting in the mandir in Whitefield. We could stay after darshan. We could stay in the mandir. That was beautiful. We could just stay there because darshan was so special, and then nobody was pushing us out like here in Puttaparthi. And we could just look at Swami's house and have this inner conversation with him. And many times he would respond. So at that time, that heavy rain came, And I was just saying, oh, Swami, I'm going again, I have to go, and you don't care. And I would be not very, but so desperate that I have to leave him. And all of a sudden, there were 2 roses floating on that small river from Swami's house down alongside the mandir. And in the middle there was a little bit, the surface was a little bit more leveled, so that water started circulating, not just flowing. And those 2 roses were also circulating, and just in front of me. And there was one Indian, and she ran and she took 1 rose. She came back, she said, go, that one's for you, or something. So I went there and I took up that rose. I knew it was from Swami. And the rose was not at all damaged because the rain was so heavy. It was fragrant, not at all damaged, and it stayed like that for the 3 days I stayed. I put it in the mandir, and it was just perfect rose for 3 days. Swami knew how much I love flowers. I've always had flowers in my garden and my balconies, and that's he uses the symbols that are
Close to you.
Close, yeah, to express what he wants. And when I came home in Slovenia, again he used that was before my 50th birthday. I was that time with my mother, and one of my schoolmates from primary school. She came to visit me, and she brought me a big bouquet of flowers, and we were talking about our days together. I always liked school, so I really liked teachers, and we had a good teacher and all this, so we were happily talking about it. And I put those flowers in a vase and on the table. She came one day before my birthday, and next day, on my birthday, 13th of August, I could see, I asked my mother, why did you spill this honey under the flowers? It was like drops of honey, but
Near flowers.
under the bouquet. And I knew that actually it's not honey because my father was a honey keeper. And then I could see it was Amrita.
Wow.
Swami, it was just falling down. My mother could also see how he signaled my 50th birthday. Like he would say, yes, I'm with you, even there. My mother was actually the only person in my family who knew that maybe that Swami is God, because she could see those changes and those leelas. Also, one of the typical Slovenian flower is carnelian, and it is quite very sensitive to pollution. So less and less carnelians grow in Slovenia. And we used to have all balconies full of them, and my mother would make those seedlings, and through the winter we would water them and then plant in the spring. But out of, 30 seedlings, maybe 10 or 5 would survive for the next, and then they would grow like this. And I started using vibhuti, because I brought vibhuti from Puttaparthi, from India. And I was putting that vibhuti with all the seedlings, and all of them survived. She could see all of them were okay next spring, She really saw those little signs of Swami's presence in my life, how he helps me, And I know she knew, yeah. Because she prayed to Jesus and Mary, and of course, but it's the same. Huh? She was so pious that finally, when I know in her last moments, she was talking to me that she knows Swami is God. Yeah,
Oh,
very nice.
that's nice.
Yeah. One other symbol that was very close to me, and Swami used it to tell you that he's present. That was birds. I always liked birds. I was very happy in nature.
You have birds on your sari.
Yes, that is Swami's sari. Yeah, that's why I'm putting it on. Yeah, that was for Swami's 80th birthday. I was in the choir, and he gave us 2 times. He gave us saris. Yeah, Swami's saris also have a story. But now, just for the birds, huh? Yeah, I was actually surprised. Swami says animals and birds. We were taught birds are like animals, but Swami always said animals and birds separate. Huh? He has some special meaning with birds, and of course they can fly and they can talk, and they are really very special. And he used that symbol. That first time in '96 when we came to I came with the group to Puttaparthi, and after Puttaparthi we went to Ramana Maharshi's ashram in Tiruvannamalai. We came as a group, and we got accommodation in the ashram, which was it's a small ashram. But as soon as I stepped into that ashram, it was amazing, because I knew I was there. It's again that feeling of déjà vu. Huh? Everything I knew where it is, especially when I came to Ramana Maharshi's room, that meditation room. And I felt so nice there, because it's a small ashram and it's quiet. And Swami's ashram at that time had more people, so I had the idea of ashram should be quiet, like in a church. I had a little bit that attachment to silence, and I was just very, very happy that I'm there. Meditation was very close to me. I could meditate for hours, even 10 hours. It was very easy for me to meditate. I was a little bit attached to meditation. Swami stopped that. But anyway, it must have been from some previous life that I could meditate. Yeah, it was my escape, and I really liked meditation. And that first night in staying in Ramana Maharshi's ashram, in the morning again around 4 o'clock, 3-4 o'clock, Brahma Muhurta time, everything happened in that time. I woke up, and there was this image of Ramana Maharshi, his face in front of me, like this. He was looking at me, and a little bit he resembles like my father. He looks a little bit like my father. And I've read all his books and all this. But of course I didn't think about that, just that he was a saint. And he was looking at me, beautiful look. And then he turned into a bird, a white dove, and he flew away. And he made me so happy, so blissful. I was, oh my God, what is this? What does that mean? I had no idea what that means, but I was very happy. And just by chance, I went to that library. They have a library, and they have many books, of course. And I opened up one book by chance. And in that book, it was about somebody who who had similar experience, and it said Ramana Maharshi still lives in the Arunachala, and he comes to his devotees. He appears like a white dove, and my dream or my vision was in detail explained there. I said, what is this? He to his devotees. What does that mean? Because of course I had this knowledge of previous lives, but no experience, huh? And this was my first trip to India, and it's now what does that mean? He comes to his devotees. So I wanted to know, and I asked who is in charge of that ashram. They told me where that man is, and I went there and I said, sir, I had this vision, and I told him, and I said, but I don't know what does that mean. And he looked at me, he listened to my story, and he said, madam, if you had a vision like that, it only means you were his devotee. You were Ramana Maharshi's devotee. I said, oh my God, that's why I can meditate and feel so well in this ashram. But I told you last time how Swami stole my heart. Yes, that direct look and all this. And when we came back from our trip, we had that blessed robe of Swami to establish the Sai Center. And at that time I learned that there's a small group of Sai devotees that was not formal group yet at that time. And we went to their satsang and were talking about our experience in India and especially in Puttaparthi. And it was so nice, bhajans and satsang. I was so happy to be with these people. Satsang is important. And at the end of that session, when I was leaving the room, I saw on the wall the same bird I saw in the Ramana Maharshi's ashram, white dove. It was like Swami saying, no, your bird is now with me.
It was a real bird?
No, it was a
painting.
A painting. Yeah, I asked that man who, it was private apartment, I said, where did you get this painting? He said somebody was selling, so I bought it. But completely the same way of that same bird. Swami using it to tell, now your bird is with me. And even later, he used birds many times, like for his 85th birthday, 80th, when he was releasing those doves. They symbolize freedom, and then they would come back to him. Yeah, birds, they didn't want to leave him. It was like, we are like birds, huh? We go away, but we want to be back with him because he is the source of our life. It was so beautiful. I know he can speak through birds in many ways, and when he sends birds and butterflies, I know it's his presence, and that even now he's using very often.
Oh.
Swami would show me many times how well he knows me, my heart, my life, my emotions and secrets. It was very clear. Even at the interview we had the last day, we got interview as a group. And Swami was talking to everybody. He was so nice to everybody. But at that time, I still had my monkey mind that was so loud. I was so ashamed because I knew Swami can hear my monkey mind. He was complaining. I think he knew that he's going out of my life. And he was complaining. Swami would turn on the fan, and my monkey mind would say, look, he could just say, hey, fan, you go around. Why does he do that? Swami would be like a human, huh? He would be so, and that my monkey mind was all the time complaining. And I would say, hey, you shut up. Swami can hear. So, I was just hoping that Swami will not talk to me. I was the last in the group to come in. That interview room is very small, and I thought there wouldn't be any place for me. So I was just hiding in one corner. I knew he can read my mind, and I was so ashamed. At that time, it was so clear. I'm not this monkey mind. I'm here in the heart, and that was okay. My love for Swami, okay, he already took my heart, but this monkey mind was complaining all the time. And finally, Swami talked to everybody, and actually, he showed most of his attention and love to one young man. He materialized what for him, and he was so much really special attention to that young man. And after some years, that man committed suicide. So that was like Swami showed, and we have many different stories similar, what he did to this Nepalese royal family. I was there when they were coming to Swami, and they were there. How much love he gave them, and then the man, the son, he killed the whole family. So we many times misunderstand Swami's. He tries to a little bit. I think he tries to change our destiny, our karma. And not always he can do, or I don't know. It was, for me, I was so shocked that that young man committed suicide. And anyway, at that time I did not know. And it was my turn. I knew I'm the last in the group. He will talk to me. So I was like hiding myself in that corner. First I thought there won't be any place for me in the interview room. And then I could feel Swami's looking at me. I couldn't really look at him. Just, I knew I could already feel his love. And that was actually the first sambhashan, the first talking on the physical level. And everything Swami asks or tells has a very deep significance in our life. And he just only asked me very casually, how are you? And the way he said that, I will never forget, because I could feel all his love. I knew nobody ever cared so much as Swami does for me. With the way he just asked, how are you? And I was very moved. Even now when I remember, I couldn't talk because of these emotions. And I said in a very tiny voice, I said, so, which was true, sometimes up and down. But it was like I didn't answer his question. And he started joking. Swami would joke a lot with me because I was too serious in my life. He would be like playing with me. And he said, what's wrong with you? Nobody speaks English. In your group, you have to learn English. And I'm a professor of English. At that time, I did not know I will lose my memory, but he was already indicating I will have to relearn English, And he was just, people around here, those devotees, those friends of mine, they said, no, Swami, she speaks English because she can't talk because of her emotions. No, you have to learn English, he said. Oh, he was just playing. Yes, he knew what will happen. I used to study languages. I like language. languages. I liked school at all, whatever. But then after that accident, I forgot everything, all the languages, and I really had to relearn. Anyway, this was last time we were talking about Swami's Parshans,
Yes.
and now I remember he had these sambhashans, conversations with me. Yeah.